Hello and welcome to Chartbusters. Well, it's a Friday morning. The first hour of trade goes to the bulls. The market's at the high point of the day. In the next half hour odd, we'll tell you all the market trends. We'll get you some trading ideas and we'll also pull in a couple of managements. I'm Nigel D'Souza joining in from the Mumbai News Centre, and Mangalam Malu joins in from his home. Morning, Mangalam.
Good morning, Nigel. As Friday, we talk about movies. Well, it's a house full on the show today, so not taking too much of your time. First up, all the top stories that we're tracking this morning. Britannia is the stock which is at a record high ahead of numbers. Today, the street expects the company to deliver strong results and on the back of continued market share gains. Voltas rallies in trade after Goldman Sachs upgrades the stock to a buy with a target price of 680 rupees. The brokerage also adds the stock to their conviction list. PTC India and PTC India Financial Services, both the stocks are higher in trade after PTC looks to monetize its near 65% stake in its investment arm, which is valued at 580 crore rupees. Mid-cap IT company Cyient is higher in trade despite a weak showing in the first quarter. The management guides for a positive second quarter, reiterating that margin in the second half will be back to the steady state margin of the first half of the last year. SAIL and Escorts, those are the stocks rallying in trade after both exited the F&O ban today.
All right, then let's get the show started with one of those stocks that Mangalam just spoke about. Well, PTC India, that stock is higher in trade after it looks to monetize its 65% stake in its investment arm, that's PTC India Financial Services. That's valued at roughly around 630 crores post today's bump up. So PTC is excited in today's trading session, but PTC Financial Services as well, that's the arm that they're looking to sell. That is up close to around 10%. Now to discuss this, what's the outlook for FY21 and what are their plans? We have Mr. Deepak Amitabh, the chairman of and MD of PTC India, who joins us. Hi, sir. Thanks so much, Mr. Amitabh, for joining in. Well, I was just looking at the rough holding. Is that around 65% stake that you have in PTC Financial Services? For that 65% stake, it's currently valued at roughly around 630 crore rupees. Given the fact that now you're looking for a buyer, you must be having some expectations. So what is the approximate number that you're looking at to sell this asset?
See, let me just explain. See, PTC as well as PTC Financial PFS both are listed companies. And as yesterday we have declared in the submitted disclosures that we have initiated a formal process now to explore the divestment of our controlling stake in PFS. We have appointed IDFC Securities as our investment merchant banker to help us guide us in this thing. And we are in the initial stages of the process. And we'll certainly come back with appropriate disclosures after achieving the relevant milestones.
Mr. Amitabh, we get your point that you cannot reveal much details, but if you could give us a sense of, were there any buyers on the table in the first place for you to go ahead and initiate this process? Yeah. How long will it take for you to actually go ahead and sell this business? And most importantly, what will you do with this money?
A very relevant question from a shareholder's perspective, all of them. See, what once we appointed a merchant banker, and that is the time the COVID struck. So we used that time, last 2 months, to prepare ourselves with the financial due diligence, legal due diligence, so that any investor, in case if they are interested, it will be a much simpler process to cut down on the time. Now the merchant banker has come back to us, and he has seen initial lot of interest, and there are people who want to get into the Indian infrastructure space, and PFS being an infrastructure finance company, listed company, and now it has that 11,000 crore. It's a clean book which they are having, healthy and clean book. So there is an interest, and that's the reason after getting the input, we have now initiated the formal process. So in the beginning, obviously, information memorandums are being shared with the perspective, and we believe that PFS is a good company. We have given enough capital, and they are always going to be requiring capital, and that's the time we decided that let PFS to get its growth capital. Last 2 years, it's consolidated itself and is ready for the growth phase. So it is requiring growth capital, and let the new person. And we have also decided that in case we will be also ready to give the management control, the controlling stake. So all those things will be considered, but it's too early to comment upon. But we believe that by the end of this calendar year, we should be reaching that stage that we can come back with the final disclosures.
So Mr. Amitabh, you believe that it's a good asset, you've seen interest coming in from this asset, and you want to close out this deal in this financial year. So you've given us quite a few details, but you didn't tell us what you'll do with this money. Once you get that buyer, once you get this asset, then what will you do? Will you return some money to your shareholders? Because this market is quite excited today on the back of this announcement. So will your shareholders expect something in return? And not just that, what about PTC Energy? That was the other asset you were looking to sell, right? Will that also be done in this year?
Let me answer your question one by one.
Yeah.
See, we declared a dividend policy this year itself in January. And after that, the COVID happened, and COVID's impact has been felt across the country by all the industry. But because we believe that our shareholders, and we have a lot of patient shareholders, they have waited very long with us. So we declared a dividend, also the highest dividend which we have done in ever. So we believe that whatever the money we will be able to monetize, we will be using for because trading business itself is becoming more and more the way the government of India and the regulators, they are coming out with the new thing that the market depth is going to increase. So we will be requiring some capital there, and whatever capital we can return to the shareholder will continue to do the same which we have done this year.
Okay, all right. And the other question in terms of PTC Energy?
Yeah. PTC Energy Limited. Now we have that's another thing where we have appointed another merchant banker. Now it's an unlisted company, so there the challenge which we had faced, that out of that 288 megawatt, about 180 megawatt or so was in Andhra Pradesh, where the issues have gone, all the developers across their international developers also. So the matter is pending before the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and we are waiting for that thing to give more clarity. But I'm sure interest is there, and as and when we will get the people who are really interested, for whom it's a strategic fit, as we are doing in the case of PFS, we will certainly look at monetizing that also. In
this year, this financial year, PTC Energy also gets sold?
See, that I cannot comment because how much time the Andhra Pradesh High Court, etc., because the matter is before the court. So court, if it gets clarity, the things will be expedited. If it keeps hanging, there may be certain delays also. So there I cannot give a timeline. So I'm just refraining from giving a timeline there. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Amitabh, we look to chat with you in the next month or so. Once you get those bids, we can get a better picture. For the time being, you're telling us the target is to sell this PTC Financial Services asset in this year. And there could be a goodie bag that will be waiting for your shareholders, because you'll be looking to return some of that to the shareholders as well. Thanks so much for joining in and giving us some clarity on that front. For the time being, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, the retail sector will be in focus. We'll get chatting with Mr. Hari Menon, the co-founder and CEO of Big Basket, and Mr. V.S. Kanan Sitaram of Fireside Ventures. Stay with us.